Hello, this is MusicTechHelpGuy, and welcome to another Melodyne 4 tutorial. Today we're going to tune up a DI recording of a bass guitar. Like guitar, bass is prone to intonation and tuning issues, as well as string tension issues, especially if you're playing higher up on the neck or pressing down on the frets too hard, or if you're just using the improper sized strings for the tuning you're trying to use. In our case, it's the latter two problems here. We have a rock track with a cool jumping octave riff, but the problem is that we've recorded it with a Fender bass with strings that are really only big enough gauge for standard tuning and maybe drop D tuning. Here we've tuned the bass down to drop C, which is C, G, C, F, lowest to highest. So our lowest string is 2 full steps lower than standard, and the other strings are 1 full step lower than standard. That's the first problem. The second problem is that I'm pressing down too hard on the frets, which is causing a lot of notes on the low C string to be sharp, and the improper string size certainly isn't helping this. So let's give this a listen. I've got the bass up in the mix intentionally. So the bass is very obviously out of tune with the guitars. Let's tighten this up with Melodyne. Alright, so we have the Melodyne plugin loaded up as the first plugin in my plugin chain. I also have some compression, drive, and a bass amp modeler. But even though I have all these effects on here, Melodyne's only affecting the raw DI signal before it hits the plugins because we put it first. So let's hit the transfer button to arm Melodyne to input the bass signal, and I'm just soloing the bass this time so you can hear it by itself. So as I suspected, there are a lot of low notes down here that are quite sharp because the strings are too small for this tuning, and I'm also pressing down too hard on the second fret of the low C string, which is causing all these notes that are supposed to be a low D to be like a quarter step sharp. So they're so sharp that they're almost up to E flat or D sharp. So let's fix this. One thing to keep in mind before we start tuning is that not everything in the recording should be tuned. For example, at the beginning here, there's a slide into the main riff. The slide's going to sound like garbage if we try to tune it with the other notes, so we'll just leave that part alone, but the rest should be tunable. So other than the slide in, let's drag over all of these notes in the opening riff that need to be tuned. Now let's go up to the correct pitch macro up here like we normally would do to correct the tuning, and you'll see that it's attempted to sense the key of the song. Here it's saying it's G minor. Melodyne does a pretty good job of sensing the key, but it's not always correct. The song is actually in D minor. So to correct the key, we're going to go up to Options, Scale Editor, and then click on Scale Detective. The Scale Detective allows you to set the reference scale or mode that Melodyne's pitch grid can snap to. So to change the key, you just select the note name and then choose what scale or mode you want. We're going to go with D minor here. So now up in the correct pitch macro, you'll see that the snap key is now corrected to D minor. Let's pull the pitch center up to 100% to correct the tuning of our selection of notes. By the way, if you don't snap to a key, Melodyne just snaps to the nearest note chromatically, which usually works but not always. It probably wasn't necessary for our bass recording to change the key or snap to the key, but I just wanted to show you guys how to do that. So it looks like all of our notes are nice and in place now. I'm just going to hit Command Z to undo so you can see the before where everything was sharp, and it looks like I missed a spot here at the beginning. And then after, you can see all those notes getting pulled down to the proper keys. Let me just drag over these first 4 notes I missed and correct them as well. So let's tune up this next section now. We can do it the exact same way as we did it before. You can see those Ds coming down into place. And lastly, there's this cool little fill riff here. Let's give it a listen. I'll go ahead and tune this up too, but it's pretty much where it needs to be other than the low notes, but this will just tighten it up a bit. All right, so now that we've got the bass all tuned up, let's give this a listen with all the other instruments back in the mix. Alright, so just some last thoughts. Just like with everything else, you should strive to start with a great recording, which means in our case with the bass, we should make sure that the intonation's right, the instrument's set up right, you have the proper strings and a good player too. But there are situations where one or more of these things fall by the wayside and retracking the take at a later date is just not possible. It's incredibly important that your bass is in tune because it's the fundamental for all of your other chord and melodic structure built on top of it. If the bass is out of tune, your entire song is going to sound off kilter. The good news is that tuning up bass is pretty easy to do, as you can see from this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, if you'd like to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel to see multiple new videos added every week. Also, you can check out carneymediagroup.com where you can view all of my video tutorials, search for specific topics, download the videos ad-free, and in some cases you can purchase session content so you can work along with me in the video. Also, please consider giving a monthly contribution at patreon.com/MusicTechHelpGuy. As always, thanks for your support and thanks for watching.